let's talk about optimism, which Neal has been speaking about and writing about a great deal recently. So optimism is a moral duty, according to the philosopher Karl Popper. Are you saying there's a similar categorical imperative for science fiction?
Well, probably the least productive behavior I could engage in would be telling all the world's science fiction writers what they should and shouldn't be doing. So I'm gonna refrain from that opportunity. But I do think that there is a kind of self-fulfilling cycle that we get trapped in at some point, where if every depiction of the future is grim and shows a world that's been destroyed by environmental calamity and war and other terrible events, then it doesn't create much of an incentive to work towards building the future.
In February of this year, at the Google-sponsored Solve for X forum, you expressed dismay about our inability to get, I think you called it, get big things done.
Yeah.
Such as going to the moon.
Even getting into space. I would settle for being able to get into space again.
Yeah, we don't even have a launch vehicle at the moment. So how did we lose our confidence and our competence?
Slowly. I mean, slowly enough that that I kind of didn't notice it, even though I'm the kind of person who ought to notice. So I can look, if we just look at space particularly, I can kind of look back now to the early days of the space shuttle, which was hyped as being a tremendous advance for the manned space launch program, and feeling a certain kind of doubt that this was really what we wanted. But I wanted to believe the hype, and so I sort of did. And then, 20 years later, with that program having been shut down, it's possible to kind of look back on it and see that it wasn't what we ought to have been doing. But it took a long time to figure that out.
Is it because some of the things we have been focusing on are more abstract and virtual, or have less civilizational weight?
Well, I think we've been obviously focusing on the internet, and that's something that needs to happen. And so what I'm sort of hoping is that if we look back on this era 100 years from now, we'll say, well, it was a very actively inventing and creating society, and then the internet happened and everything got put on hold for a generation. While the internet was kind of absorbed and we figured out what to do with it. And then and then we got going again. We sort of caught up on some of the things we'd failed to do while we were Facebooking.